Hello. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this game of the Dad's Premier League between Jbcn United and Jns Toros. The update out in the middle is that Jbcn have won the toss and they have elected to field first. The Jns Toros, with their openers all in readiness to face the first ball. Vishal to take strike and Summer on the non-striker's end. Has all the makings to be a very, very closely fought encounter between two teams who are looking to get this win. The bowler all set to bowl his first delivery. Vishal and the bowler waiting for the umpire's call to kick-start proceedings. Here we are, very close to the first ball. Here it is, first ball of the contest. Vishal on strike, short pitched, takes it in the air and goes for 4 behind square on the leg side. That was easy pickings for a batsman of Vishal's caliber. It was the best possible delivery to get off the mark. Slow, gentle, enough time for Vishal to just pick his spot, and pick his spot he does with elegance. Jns Toros off the mark with the boundary of the very first ball of their batting innings. No better way to kickstart proceedings with a boundary, and that too of the very first ball. So Vishal here in full confidence, taking stock of the situation, looking at the field set that is there. A fielder now goes to the deep. It's deep square. It's deep mid-wicket. One fielder on the deep. We are in the power play, mind you. 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. Ashay with his second delivery. That's a full toss. Hit down the ground, and that's another boundary. 2 in 2, and Vishal is all geared up for this game. This one was full outside the off stump, but Vishal was very well prepared for it and equally ready to the task. As you can see, ball hanging up in there. Enough time. Vishal picks his spot nicely off the middle of the bat and beats the fielder for 4 straight down the ground. 2 balls, 8 runs. And now the pressure squarely on Ashay as he looks to come back from what can be classified as a pretty poor start from him. Drifting down the pads in the first ball and overcompensating for it with a little too full for his own liking. Vishal and the Toros could not have asked for a better start. 2 balls, 2 boundaries. Can Vishal make it 3? Here comes Ashay. That's a much better delivery, but this once again has taken the gap. Doesn't have the legs to go to the boundary, but Vishal will take 2. So this is a very, very good start. Another good shot played by Vishal. So mind you, all the 3 shots that Vishal has played have been really good. It's a nice pickup shot on the leg side of the first delivery, a straight drive down the ground, and that was as good a late cut as can be played. Waited for the ball, picked his spot nicely between the 2 fielders, and that's 10 runs of the first 3 balls. Ashay to continue. And that's another good looking shot. This time there is a fielder there at long on. The second fielder in the deep outside the 30-yard circle, straight to him for a single. That was another full toss there from Ashay though. So that's 2 full tosses in 4 deliveries. An expensive first over, still 2 balls to go, and Summer to face his first delivery. Here comes Ashay. Oh, that was a play and a miss. That's a good ball from Ashay. Very close to the stumps. Not the line and length to cut for Summer, and the keeper gathers it well. As you can see, good ball that. A little wider. Not enough bounce for it to be cut though. Here's Ashe with his last ball of the first over. Summer to face. And that is drifted well down the leg side for a wide. We'll have to bowl that one again. That is the first extra of this contest. Ashe to bowl the final ball of the first over once again. That's full. Oh, he did not get the timing that he was looking for. So eventually gets it to the fielder for a single. And Summer will keep strike for the second over. First over down for the books. The Jns Toros are 13 for no loss. We have a bowling change. Brijesh to take the ball from the other end. Will have to do a little bit of damage control given that the first over from Ashe has gone for 13 runs. Brijesh to bowl. And Summer, by virtue of taking a single of the last ball in that first over, will face Brijesh for the first time in this contest. The pitch looks to be true, as you could see with the way Vishal was playing. That's the first ball. Vishal seems to be rather comfortable with the conditions on offer there. And here comes Brijesh, kick-starting proceedings. Summer to face. Oh, played well off the pads. A misfield, but a single has been comfortably taken, which brings Vishal on strike. So Vishal, after 2 boundaries in that first over, will be brimming with confidence and will fancy his chances as to whatever will be thrown at him. But again, he will have to be careful because it's still the second over of the power play, still the early exchanges of this contest. Will need to bide his time as well. Here comes Brijesh to Vishal. Oh, a little bit of swing. But it does drift down the leg side and that will be called a wide. However, Brijesh will be happy to see a little bit of movement of the surface. Brijesh to Vishal once again. Oh, that's another good ball. That late movement cramping Vishal for room. And apart from the movement, Brijesh will be mighty impressed with the bounce that is on offer as well. Good carry, cramping Vishal for room. Not able to free his arms on that occasion. Completely missing the ball. And an interesting tactic here from Vishal, standing outside his crease. And Brijesh will have to reload that one again. Probably a case of missing his run-up. That's not an issue. Happens to everyone. Happens to the best of us. So here comes Brijesh again. Vishal to face him. Again, this time it's a little too wide. And we'll have to bowl that one again. So while the start has been good, Brijesh will want to avoid bowling any extras to give those freebie runs that are helping the Toros at the moment. Here is Vishal facing Brijesh. Forward defense, played back to the bowler. Nothing doing. A rather uneventful over so far. No attacking shots played. And the bowling has been disciplined enough as well. I probably sense a big shot here. But then I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't one as well. Here comes Brijesh. That's a good looking stroke, but no run on offer. So this is very, very good and disciplined bowling from Brijesh. Has not conceded a boundary. Yes, a couple of extras have been given, but it has been 3 dot balls and a single apart from the 2 wides. So that's a mighty impressive over. However, the over needs to be finished well. Here is ball number 5. Brijesh to Vishal. Oh, that's an appeal, but nothing doing. The ball was there to cut for Vishal, but the disciplined length by Brijesh means that he's missed out on that. And another good grab by the keeper. Tidy work there from behind the stumps. You can see. Was there to cut, mind you. Was there to cut. But I think the lack of pace did him in. Here is Brijesh. That's a short ball towards the leg side. And yes, it is a boundary. So Vishal gets the last laugh after what was a really good over up until that point. And once again, another boundary on the leg side behind square. Means that the score motors along to 20 for no loss at the end of 2 overs. Confident start from Vishal. As you can see, comes a little ahead, waits, swivels and connects, beats the fielder there and goes to the boundary for 4. Third boundary for Vishal, 20 for no loss. Ashay to continue an expensive first over that, going for 13 runs. 2 boundaries of the very first 2 balls of his innings. Here he comes, bowling to Samar this time. Oh, that's an appeal for a stumping. However, nothing doing. And it did clip a little bit of the pad, so not given as a wide as well. Starts off with a dot delivery. A marked contrast from his first over where he was greeted with a boundary. Ashay bowling to Samar once again. The left armour. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. That's lovely. Oh, that's for boundary there. So Samar gets his first boundary of the innings. The ball was right there in the slot. Samar muscles it straight over the bowler's head, and it had enough legs to beat the fielder who was herring in from long on. As you can see right there in the slot, picks it beautifully, enough power, enough strength there, and the on-rushing fielder just had no chance because of the power that was generated in that shot. So boundary with again in the first 2 balls. Here he comes once again, and he cuts, and cuts well. Beats the fielder at short third, and that's another boundary. So back-to-back boundaries for Samar as well. And Jns Toros are off to a flyer. The Jns Toros on 28 for no loss. We are midway through the 3rd over. A flying start from both their openers. 15 for Vishal and now 10 for Samar. And just the start that the Jns Toros had in mind. They could not have asked for a better start, and their openers are giving it for them, laying down a platform for the rest of the batsmen. Ashay once again under pressure as he bowls this delivery. Easy pickings, well fielded, but the ball is still gone. They're looking for 2, and they eventually get 2 rather comfortably. So this once again going on close to be an expensive over because 10 runs have been taken from this as well. 2 more deliveries left in this over. The Toros will be looking to maximize these because Ashay currently is under tremendous pressure. Here he comes. Nicely flicked, but this time straight to the fielder, so no run there. The Jns Toros, having been put into bat first, are 30 for no loss. Last ball of the 3rd over. Here he is. Solid in defense, and that's a quick knock and run. So the end of 3 overs, the Jns Toros are 31 for no loss. Brijesh to continue. Impressive first over, 7 runs conceded, and once again losing his run up as we speak. Brijesh bowling to Summer once again, who will take strike. Here he comes. Cut and misfield, and that goes for the boundary. This is not something that Brijesh or Jbcn would have wanted. They are already under pressure given the start that they have conceded, and misfields here will not help their cause. But 4 more runs to Summer and he will gladly take it. Cuts hard. Should have been taken there. Should have been fielded, but lets it go, unfortunately. And that's 4 more to the total. Brijesh to Summer. Gives him the charge that has hit the pad. So no run there. As you can see here. Yes, clips the pad there, but that's a good parry by the keeper there. Because the deflection could have gone in anywhere. So that's good awareness by the keeper. So that's 2 different shades. A misfield, and then that's a good effort to stop a boundary. So 2 extremes in 2 balls. Here is Brijesh once again. Nice. That's a beautiful drive. That sound of the bat was everything. So sweetly hit, so sweetly timed. Races away to the boundary like a tracer bullet. And 39 for no loss now, the Jns Toros. What a start this is from their openers. Summer on 21 of 12. And Vishal, his opening partner, on 15 of 9. They're right there asking to be hit. Nice, wide. And Summer, with that swing of his arms, obliges duly. Nice, solid defense. Hit to mid-off. No run there. So another over that sees 2 boundaries. 8 runs of this over. 2 balls left. Both batsmen looking in good touch at the moment. Brijesh gives the charge. Oh, swing and a miss. Misses it. There was an appeal for caught behind. There was an appeal for a run out as well, but safe on both counts. You're giving the charge, and as you can see, he's comfortably in. So nothing doing there. Brijesh to end this over. Summer on strike. What will Summer do? We've already seen him give the charge in the previous ball. Will he repeat that trick? Here is Brijesh to Summer. Oh, good ball there. Late movement. But eventually goes across for a single. So it's the end of the 4th over. The Toros dominating the early proceedings of this game at 40 for no loss. And we have our first bowling change for JBCN United. Pareen takes the ball for the 5th over. And Ashay taken out of the attack after a very expensive first 2 overs. JBCN will be looking to get a foothold back into the contest in the final 2 overs of the power play. They would want to concede as less runs as possible, so that the game does not just play catch up for them in their case. So here is Pareen bowling to Summer. That's another good run taken there. They have been finding boundaries at regular intervals, but they have been knocking and running the quick singles with efficiency as well. So this is very good cricket and very good understanding between the 2 opening batsmen. And that is very, very evident with the partnership that they've put on as well. 41 for no loss. Here is Pareen. Vishal. Oh, that's very well played. And that's a beautiful shot, and that rightly so deserves 4 runs. It was a good effort there to stop the boundary, but Vishal had just generated enough power and enough precision in that shot. As you can see, beautifully cut, kept low, got on top of the ball, and nicely beating that fielder at point. 4 runs. Here he comes. That's well fielded. That is very well fielded there by the fielder at 3rd man. Just a single. Pareen bowling in. 6 runs already conceded of his first 3 balls. The Toros are cruising along at this stage with a run rate of 10.22. Here is Pareen bowling to Summer. Oh, he tries to go for the full Monty but misses. Summer looking to continue the aggressive batting from one end. And you could see the merit in his approach here, because he's looking to put pressure on the bowling attack as much as possible, looking to maximize the window that is there in the power play, so that there is a period of consolidation in the middle overs as well, so you can understand the approach that he is going through. Oh yeah, once again gives the charge. Misses again though. So Summer has made his intentions pretty clear, but this is good bowling as well from Pareen, keeping it outside that hitting arc. As you can see here, this time he was looking to go above the fielder on the offside. Here gives the charge but misses it. So this is very good bowling. He's kept it outside the hitting arc. That is good awareness from the bowler here. So after the boundary conceded in the second ball, it is a pretty good comeback. Here is Pareen bowling to Summer. Hits it down the ground and gets across for a single. So it's a good over in the context of the game. 7 runs conceded. At the end of 5 overs, the Toros 47 for no loss. And here, this is the last over of the power play. And Anshuman has been entrusted with the responsibility of bowling this over, with Summer on strike once again. So we've already seen Summer's intentions in the previous over, but now with a spinner here, will be very interesting to see what he does. Here goes. Gives the charge, hits it nicely, and that is running, and that has enough legs to go to the boundary. So that is the perfect start that the Toros would have wanted in that first final over of the power play. And the 50 of the partnership comes up between the openers as well. It's an attacking, stroke-filled, aggressive opening partnership, and this has given the Toros a beautiful platform to build on as the game goes by. Nicely played, picked his spot beautifully between the gap of the two fielders. 4. There it is. This time does not get the timing or the precision he was looking for. Hits it straight back to the bowler. Anshuman to continue. Oh, he takes the aerial route, and that is gone. That is 4. Picked his spot once again there, was in the slot, takes the aerial route, and it was just above that fielder there who was on the edge of the circle. Another boundary though. So the Jns Toros juggernaut keeps on rollicking around at a rapid pace. Anshuman under pressure. Samar tries to reach, goes behind, and that hesitation means that they get 2 runs. So this has been a very, very, very good and nicely paced innings by Samar. 34 of 23, looking in very, very good touch. And now we see Anshuman go around the wicket. There he goes. Oh, that was close. That was very close. And Anshuman knows it. Samar knows it as well. Fortunate there. Got some bat on it and was lucky that it did not chop onto his stumps. And goes ahead. Caution is the word there for Samar. The last ball of the power play. Gives the charge. Oh, that was an opportunity again. The keeper, who had been good behind the wicket so far, was unable to collect that. And that's a stumping chance gone a-begging. But it's the end of the power play. 6 overs gone. The Jns Toros, 58 for no loss. As you can see now, it's the end of the power play, which means that the field restrictions are off and Pareen back to bowl his second over. The 2 fielders in the deep on the offside are a deep extra cover and a deep point. And as far as the field on the leg side is concerned, there is a long off and there is a long on. Pareen to bowl his second over. Here he comes. Samar on strike. Oh, that's... So Samar continuing to display the aggressive intent. Despite the end of the field restrictions. Gives the charge, but there was a trifle of a bounce more. So, misses that. And that's a dot ball. A rarity, I must say. Given the way that both the opening batsmen have approached this so far. Here is Pareen to Samar once again. Plays it nicely. They're looking for 2 and they will get it. It's well run. Couple of runs taken. So the scoreboard is ticking along nicely. Both the opening batters have got a good grasp of the conditions that are on offer, and it seems that Jbcn United are currently running out of ideas. They need to get a wicket soon so that they can just have a little bit of a foothold in the contest, because as of now, it is the Toros who are dominating. Here is Pareen. And Pareen this time not able to get his run up. $60 for no loss. The Jns Toros. Here is Pareen. Samar. Oh, that's beautiful. Stand and deliver. That is gone all the way for 6. Oh, that's a brilliant shot from Samar. He had been trying that shot for a couple of overs, but this time gets it and beautifully hit. Comes, takes the charge. Oh, that is beautifully tucked in towards that square leg boundary for 6. Elegance personified. Brute force and elegance in equal measure, combining to beautiful effect as 6 runs more are added to the total of the Jns Toros. 66 for no loss. Samar racing away to 43 of 28. Great start this. The perfect start in my opinion for the Toros, who are rampaging along with brute force. Here is Pareen. Bowling to Samar. Takes the aerial route. 1 bounce to the fielder at long off. Gets a single. And finally, Vishal on strike. It'll be interesting to see how Vishal continues to bat, because he's been off strike for a considerable time. Here he is. Oh, tries the aggressive option. There is a bit of a hesitation, but they eventually take the bye. That should not have been taken. That run should have been avoided. A little bit of a casual approach from Jfsc on the field gives them an extra run. So Samar gets back on strike. Pareen to continue his over. It's the last ball of the 7th over. Here is Pareen bowling to Samar. In the air. Going, gone! That is well out of the park for 6. And with that shot, Samar gets to his half century. Brilliant innings this, 50 of 30 balls. And at the end of the 7th over, the Toros are 74 for no loss. What a strike this is. This was brilliant. The ball was not an easy ball to dispatch, mind you. It was a good ball from Pareen. But Samar with the momentum and with the touch that he is in, easy pickings for him. Picks the bones out of that one, as you can see here. Picks it nicely, middle of the bat, and that is gone a long, long way. Out of the park for 6. And we need new balls here. So Jbcn United well and truly on the back foot here. Well and truly. They have been pushed into a corner with this aggressive intent and this aggressive batting approach by both the openers of the Toros. They are not giving Jbcn any room to dominate. It has just been one-way traffic in the first 7 overs of this batting innings. And you expect the Toros to continue with this dominant phase that they find themselves in. This is as good a platform as it is for them to take full advantage. And as you can see, another bowling change by Jbcn. Jneel comes in to bowl the 8th over with Vishal on strike. And Jneel taking his time to set his field. He wants the field as per his specifications. Will be very interesting to see how Vishal fares here, because we know Samar has been in phenomenal touch, but Vishal has not had a lot of the strike so far. So here it is, Janil to Vishal, wide, the little bit of turn, no run on offer. So Janil to bowl to Vishal again. Oh, the appeal for LBW. Nothing doing. And the ball getting stuck in the pads of Vishal as well. So this is good bowling here from Janil. He's got spin, he's got turn, he's got grip. And that is something that Jbcn will be looking forward. And oh, that's another good ball. 3 back-to-back dot balls here. Something that none of the Jbcn bowlers were able to do in the first 7 overs. So this is good bowling here from Janil. He would want to continue this. Vishal on strike. There, another one. So that's 4 dot balls in a row. Good bowling this. And after 7 overs, Jbcn finally putting a squeeze on things. It was expected because Vishal had not been able to get on strike for a vast majority of the first 7 overs. He's faced 16 balls out of 46. So here he is, gets bat on ball this time for a single. The misfield, but still it will only be a single. So finally a single of this over. A rare over so far that no boundary has been hit. But still, there is 1 ball to go and anything can happen. Janil will want to finish this over on a positive note. Samar on strike to Janil. And that's very well bowled. Samar gets a bottom edge and a very difficult chance that. So an excellent over from Janil. 8 overs gone. The Jns Toros 75 for no loss. As you can see there was a genuine edge, but it was at the bottom half of the bat and was keeping low, so it was a very, very difficult chance for the keeper to gather. But still was able to ensure that no runs were taken. So that is good keeping overall. 75 for no loss after 8 overs. The Toros going at a very healthy run rate of 9.38. This is a very, very good opening stand as well from the Toros. And there is another bowling change. Manish comes into the attack with Vishal on strike. Vishal on 21 of 17 and Samar, his non-striker, with a well-made 50 of 31 balls. Here is Manish to bowl his first ball to Vishal. Oh, that's a good ball. And was well played, but straight to the fielder at cover. Here is Vishal facing Manish. That's been given as a wide. I think this is the over that Vishal will have to find his bearings. He's played out the previous over, which you can put it down to the lack of strike that he has. But he's faced enough balls now to get a good grasp of the situation and the conditions once again. So expect a big shot from him in this over. That is what I believe that Vishal will do. Here he is. Again, the good sound of ball on bat will get a single. And that brings the informed batter, Summer, on strike. So, it will be very interesting to see what is Summer's approach. Here is Summer facing Manish. Oh, that's in the air. And that's just landed in no man's land. And Summer, that's a dangerous stand. They eventually get back for 2. Good running between the wickets and a very, very good call from Vishal. Gets 2 runs for it. So this is another good over so far. 4 runs conceded off. 3 balls yet to go. Summer to face Manish. Oh, that is hit. And that stays hit. And that is gone all the way for 6. Summer has been seeing the ball like a football. And that has once again gone well over the boundary for 6. He is motoring along brilliantly here. As you can see, shot there to be hit. And when Summer hits them, they stay hit right at the meat of the bat and goes all the way. So here is Summer once again. Manish bowling to Summer. Oh, it's bottom edge. Will get a single though. 86 for no loss. We are 1 ball away from the 9th over. And Vishal to face the final ball of the 9th over. So it's another expensive over this. Manish going for 11. Vishal to face. Oh, that's an edge. Falls just short of the fielder, 3rd man, but a misfield too. And that is going and running away for 4. So that is gone for a boundary. An unfortunate turn of events for the fielding side. The ball taking a deflection after landing on the ground. So 15 runs of this over, a very expensive one. The Jns Toros at the end of 9 overs, 90 for no loss. Here you can see there's a deflection there, but it's more of the case of the fielder overrunning a bit. Unfortunate that. But at the end, it's 4 more runs added to the total. Nine overs. The Jns Toros are on a roll. 90 runs for the loss of no wicket. 10 runs and over. At this rate, they will definitely be looking for a score of 200 to 200 plus. With Summer going great guns from one end, and Vishal also now would be picking up confidence and momentum as well with that boundary. No matter how fortunate it is, the batsmen will take it any which way they come. So here is Summer to continue from one side, to continue that onslaught. Summer's innings has been a beautiful innings. It has been the right mix of brute force and effective timing as well. You can talk about the power that he generates from those shots, but he's timing them to perfection as well. Here is Summer. And there it is. Straight. And that is gone for 4. Waiting for the umpire's call. And that is 4. So Janil being welcomed back after a brilliant first over. Picked it brute force again over his head. 1 bounce over the rope for 4. How can they stop Summer? Sensational. sensational Summer. Going great guns. He's under the 60s now. 63 of 35. And he would look there. Will get a single. Can probably get more. Yes, they're looking for the second. And they will comfortably come back for 2. So this is a great start to the over. Janil, who just gave away a single in his previous over, has now been hit for the boundary of his first ball in this over and now has been taken for 2 as well. So that means every bowler of the Jbcn United side has gone for at least 1 boundary in their bowling spell so far. 96 for no loss. We are into the 10th over. Summer batting on 65. He picks that up nicely. And that is once again gone for 4. And the 100 comes up for the Toros. The 100 of the partnership and the 100 for the team total as well. This has been a batting display par excellence from Summer. Once again, picks up beautiful use of the bottom hand. And that is for 4 more. So this is brilliant batting here from Summer, who is raced on to 69 of 37. There it is. That's been given as a wide as well. And an extra run to boot. So 2 more runs added to the total. 102 for no loss. We are halfway through to the 10th over. "14 runs conceded of this over. We are still 3 balls in, 3 balls left to go. Vishal on strike to Janil. Oh, that's a good ball there. A little bit of late turn. Vishal thought of giving Janil the charge, but eventually settles in his crease. Janil to Vishal. Tries to flick it down the legs, but the umpire calls it wide. And it was drifting down the leg side, so you'll have to bowl that one again. So we've already conceded 15 runs of this over. Oh, that's a good shot. But equally well fielded there. He certainly saved a boundary there for sure. That is very well fielded, because that was hit with beautiful timing by Vishal. As you can see here, he's picked that beautifully, waited right of that perfectly timed cut shot, but that is brilliant. He saved 3 runs for his side there. And these are the type of fielding efforts that will raise the spirits of the Jbcn United side. Big appeal, but the ball clearly pitching outside the leg stump. So we are halfway through to the first innings. 10 overs gone. The Jns Toros, having been put into bat, are at a very, very healthy score of 104 for no loss. And now it is time for a drink. We are back after all the players have hydrated and have taken drinks. I think the discussion in the Jns Toros camp would obviously be more of the same, while for Jbcn it will obviously be damage limitation to, limit the score to a reasonable one. Here is Manish to Vishal, cuts it well for a single. Oh, there's a misfield there. And that moment of hesitation means that they've taken two. So this is excellent game awareness and excellent running between the wickets as well, especially given that Summer and Vishal have been there since the very first ball. And this is a brilliant display of opening batsmanship at its finest, with Vishal playing the anchor man and Summer, the man in form, going hammer and tongs from the other end. Here is Vishal to Manish. This time will get a single. The score ticks along rather nicely for the Jns Toros. They are at 107 for no loss, 10 wickets in the hut. Here is Manish bowling to Summer, and that's hit in the air, and that's 6. Flat batted straight over the bowler's head and over the fielder at long off as well. Summer has now moved on to 75. And good lord, he's displaying brilliant batting here. Again, smashes it, stand and deliver. No chance for the fielder at long off. You can only watch it sail past his head. 113 for no loss. Summer on 75. That's another full toss. But this time, will the fielder at long on will gather. Just a single. Vishal on strike now. Manish to bowl. Vishal flicks it, and that goes to the boundary for 4. So the runs continuing to flow. The break has not had an effect on the Toros whatsoever. And in fact, if anything, they have just continued with the momentum that they have had. We've had a 6 and a 4 in this over already. 14 runs of this over. 1 more ball to go. 118 for no loss here. Here is Manish bowling to Vishal. It's looped nicely for a single. So it's the end of the 11th over. So we're 11 overs into this contest. The Jns Toros, 119 for no loss. Another expensive over this for Jbcn United, and they will have to definitely find a way to stem this flow of runs, because this is turning out to be very expensive. And if they are not able to control this, they will be staring at a very realistic possibility of chasing a target well above 200. Janiel comes back into the attack. Janiel to bowl to Vishal. Janiel also taking time to set his field. Vishal on 35 of 26. Summer on 76 of 40. 76 of 40. That's a good shot. That's a very good shot. Hit hard, but straight to the fielder, so we'll only get a single. So this is a brilliant platform here, like 120 for no loss. Surely. And as we speak, the bowler wiping the ball off, so there is the possibility of dew around as well. Samar looking for 2, and that, yes, it will be 2 with that misfield. So with dew in play, I think the run chase will also be a very interesting prospect, because you can see this is now 2 consecutive balls in a row that Janil has wiped the ball after receiving it. So we obviously have the dew factor come into play as well. Samar picks that spot but will not get any run for it, because the fielder at mid-on gathers it. Samar facing Janil, makes a little room for himself. Will get a single. Oh, they're running. That's a suicidal run. Oh, makes it eventually in time. The first sign of hesitation between the opening pair, who have been so good so far. Samar had already set off for 2. Vishal was ball watching, but eventually no harm, no foul. Samar moves on to 80. In the air. And dropped. Oh my word. That is a lifeline at probably the worst possible time for Jbcn United. Samar gives the charge, gets nowhere near it, loops into the air, and it goes right through the fielder there. That should have been taken. But Samar survives. And how costly of a mistake is this going to be for Jbcn? Swing and a miss from Vishal in the meanwhile is the end of the 12th over. The Toros 125 for no loss. And a new bowling change as Bhavik steps into the bowling attack. He will be bowling to a well-set Samar, who right now looks invincible out there in the middle. At 81, he is batting on 81. And Vishal on the other end, slowly and steadily giving him company with a well-made 36 of his own. 125 for no loss, the Jns Toros having been put into bat. Mind you, it was the Jbcn United winning the toss and choosing to bowl first. But this has been a batting exhibition so far by the openers for Jns Toros. Here is Samar. That's been given as a wide by the umpire, with Bhavik straying down the leg side. Here is Bhavik to Samar. Bowls it full towards the legs, and they will settle for a single this time. Vishal currently batting on 36. He's been the sedate out of the two batters so far. He has got his boundaries, but he has played the situation accordingly. There was a time where he did not get enough of the strike, but he's there and he is batting well. He will be facing Bhavik for the first time. Here is Vishal. Flicks it. Oh! Yes and no once again. Classic case of yes and no, but this time Vishal raising his hand up. Let's have a look here. Vishal flicks it and eventually goes for the run, but there was no run there because it was timed well and hit straight to the fielder. Eventually makes his ground rather comfortably, but this is a warning sign. A few moments of indecision creeping up for the Toros. They will have to take stock of that as Bhavik continues to Vishal. There, another wide. So Vishal trying to target the boundary behind fine leg, given that fine leg is up inside the circle. So that is the second time that he's attempted that scoop shot, but he hasn't been able to get bat on ball. What will Vishal do now? Here he is. Oh, that's an inside edge, and this time Summer rushing off, but makes it back rather comfortably. Well, it is a quiet over, but with the runs that they accumulated in the first 12 overs, the Toros can afford a couple of dot balls here and there. There, a knock and run, but once again sent back by Summer. So this is a good over so far. 4 balls, 3 runs conceded, from which 2 of them were extras. So 1 run off the bat. The Toros will be looking to get a boundary in this over, whereas Jbcn will definitely look to avoid conceding a boundary. Here is Vishal facing Bhavik. That is well wide. Very wide on the offside. We'll have to bowl that one again, will Bhavik. The third wide in this over. Here is Bhavik to Vishal. And there is a single hit it towards long on. Single taken rather comfortably, which will bring Summer on strike. And I'm pretty sure that Summer will be itching to go for a big shot at this point in time. You can see it. He is assessing his options at the moment. He's had enough time off strike. He will be looking to make the most out of this delivery as Bhavik comes in to bowl the final ball of his first over. There it is. In the air. And they will come back for 2. So the aggressive shot was there and Summer duly obliges but gets 2 runs for it. It's the end of the 13th over. The Jns Toros cruising at 132 for no loss. Seven overs left for the first innings to conclude, and throughout the course of their batting essay, the Jns Toros have had a very healthy run rate of over 10 runs an over, which has not gone below that throughout the course of their batting innings. And that sheer consistent ability to find boundaries in every over has set their innings up rather nicely. Here is Vishal. Oh, swings and misses. So very good ball first up on the on good length, beating him for pace and room and cramping him up a bit there. As Vishal was looking to play that cut shot, which he has done rather nicely so far in his batting innings. Sawmill, the new bowler, who's into the attack. Vishal on strike. Oh, he flicks it. No run. Sent back by Summer, and rather wisely at that. The Jns Toros motoring along nicely. 132 for no loss. Vishal batting on 37. And Summer unbeaten on 84. Good shot. That's a good looking shot from Vishal. And that is gone to the boundary. So Vishal once again relying on his much favoured cut shot. And no chance of the fielder there at deep. Motors to the boundary for 4. As you can see, brilliantly played over the fielder. 4 runs. So Vishal now goes into the 40s. And Toros 136 for no loss. Here is Sawmill bowling to Vishal, and that is well wide, and that is going, and that is gone for 4 as well. Very, very poor delivery. The last thing you want is 4 wides, and that is exactly what they have provided. So that score goes along to the 140s now. 141 for no loss. And at this point, the question arises that will the Toros end their innings without losing a single wicket? Because they have been batting like a dream. And this is the perfect opening partnership here. Already 141 runs accumulated without losing a single wicket. Sawmill to bowl to Vishal. Solid in defense there. Hits it back to the bowler. Here is Sawmill bowling to Vishal once again. Picks the route, but did not get the connection he was hoping for. And that is a dot ball. A little bit of a yes and no once again, but no run was the wise decision. Vishal on strike. Sawmill continuing his over. Oh, that's beaten the bowler right through him. Will get a single. So the score motors along. 142 for no loss. One more ball. Oh, it's the end of the 14th over here. 14 overs in. The Jns Toros 142 for no loss. 6 more overs to go. Bhavik to continue from the other end with his second over. Vishal to take strike. We have a long off. We have a long on. We have a deep square leg. Here is Bhavik to Vishal. Hits it down the ground for a single. So now Samar back on strike. Is batting on 84 at the moment of 46 deliveries. That's in the air, but between the fielders to the long on fielder for another single. Oh, that's hit. And that is 6. Full toss. Gets the treatment it deserves. Vishal does not need a second invitation to go for the full Monty there. And he moves on to 49. The Jns Toros get their 150 up. And this is the 150 of the opening partnership as well. Top class batting on display from both the openers. It has been an exhibition so far. And that's another shot over. And that is another 6. What a way to get to your half century, Vishal. Raise your bat. You deserve this. What a batting display this has been. Phenomenal, phenomenal batting display. Same ball, same treatment, same result. This has been a batting performance of the highest quality. And Jbcn United just seem to have no answers for this batting onslaught. Vishal to continue. He's got 2 sixes and 2 balls. Oh, that's edged. Misses the edge there. Vishal unhappy that he did not get any sort of connection on that. He knew that ball was there for the taking. This has been it is the end of 15 overs. The Jns Toros are 156 for no loss. Vishal with those 2 massive sixes on 55, whereas Samar on 85. Here's the first one. Full toss, no invitation needed. Swivels, hits and just finds the 6, the boundary with ease. That was a beautiful shot. Poor ball, but had to be dispatched and was dispatched rightly so. And then the second one, much fuller, overcompensated for that, but Vishal was up to the task, and that was the shot that got him his half century as well. So this was a brilliant 2 balls. 2 balls that were there to be hit and was duly obliged by Vishal, who found the back of the boundary with ridiculous ease on both those occasions. Reaches a well-deserved half century there. Child's play, says Vishal. Child's play. Last 4 overs to go. Last 5 overs, I beg your pardon. 156. Samar on strike. Sawmill to bowl. That the umpire gives it as a wide. Good call there. It was a case of touch and go, but just beyond the tram line. And right decision made by the umpire there. Sawmill to bowl. Samar on strike. Ooh, Again, looking for the big shot there, Summer. As you can see, he's looking for the big shot, but oof, very close to the stumps now that you look at it. Oh, very, very close indeed. Again, that's a good ball. He's looking for a single. Eventually gets it. Moves on to 86. Vishal on strike now. Here is Somil bowling to Vishal. Ooh, that was very close to the edge as well. It's a good tight over from Somil so far. Beaten both the batsmen on the outside edge. And once again, wiping the ball. The ball is wet because of the dew there. This will be a huge factor going into the contest as we go on. Here is Vishal. Tries the flick once again. Given as a wide. Good run there as well. As you can see, Vishal going for that scoop once again. And the keeper cops a blow in the process. And good bit of sportsmanship there from Summer, asking the keeper whether he is all right. And the keeper gives a thumbs up indicating that he is good to go despite the blow. So we're all in readiness. As Somil will continue to bowl his second over. He's given away 14 for no wicket. Here is Summer. In takes the aerial route, and as has been the case, whatever Summer touches turns to gold. This one finds the boundary on the bounce. So Summer moves into the 90s with that boundary. He is on 90. And Jns Toros 164 for no loss. He's picking up his spots rather beautifully here this Summer. It seems that fielders are nowhere wherever he hits the ball. Takes the aerial route, and this time Summer on the 90s. A brilliant innings comes to an end. Somil gets the wicket. Summer was continuing to go for the big shot there. He was trying to continue to keep that attacking impetus. Balloons the ball straight to the bowler, but what an innings this has been. This has been an innings of the highest class, highest quality, and top quality batting display from Summer comes to an end. He goes on for 90. The Jns Toros 164 for 1. As you can see, he was looking to go over the bowler's head. Gets that leaning edge, and Somil makes no mistake there. Gathers that ball with ease, and the partnership is broken. The first wicket falls. But what an innings this has been from Summer. Right from the outset, he was the aggressor. He was brilliant. Picked his spots beautifully. Used his power to devastating effect en route to a brilliant stroke fleet 90. And even the opponents take a moment to appreciate the innings that they have witnessed. And as we speak, the new batsman Vikas takes strike. Somil, the wicket taker. And that is another wicket. So 2 wickets in 2 balls. Vikas goes for a golden duck. What do they say about the London buses? You wait for ages and then you get 2 in a row. And that has been the case for Jbcn United. They have had to wait until 16 overs to get a wicket. And now they've got 2 in 2 balls. Is this a sign of Jbcn pulling things back a little? So we are 16 overs into the contest, 164 for 2. A little bit above the ball. It was a yorker right under the batsman's bat. And you miss and I hit. So a sliver of hope here for Jbcn as the second wicket falls. Good ball that, right under the batsman. Very difficult to pick up. And 2 wickets for Sawmill back-to-back in this over. He will be on a hat-trick the next time he takes the ball. And Vikas goes without troubling the scorers. It will be Vishal on strike for the 17th over. And Karan, the new batsman, out in the middle. What would be the ideal score that the Jns Toros will be looking at? Surely 200, surely. They have the batsman, they have the set batter out there in the middle in Vishal, who is on 55 currently. They will look to add at least 40 to 50 runs in the last 4 overs with Chintan, the new bowler, into the attack. It's a good ball first up. Vishal scampers across for a single. And Karan to take strike for the first time. And here is Chintan to Karan. Karan, oh, cramped him a bit for room, and that's wide. And 4 as well. So an extra. There it is, Chintan trying to cramp Karan for room, but it straight down a little too much to the leg side for his liking. The keeper unable to gather it, and the ball races away to the boundary for 4. And as you can see, Chintan again wiping that ball. That ball has been difficult to grip because of the dew on offer. Karan, it's in the air. Just in short of the fielder, a fine leg. So Karan gets off the mark. First single. 171 for 2 here. The Jns Toros. 3 more overs to go after this. Can they get to 200? Vishal on strike to Chintan. Plays that one rather late, and they will come across for a rather easy 2. So the score, a rather comfortable 173 for 2. Vishal on strike. Is currently batting on 58. Chintan bowling to Vishal. Vishal gives the charge. And that is gone for 4. Beautifully timed that from Vishal. Beats the fielders rather comfortably there. So another boundary. And the score moves on to 177, inching ever so closer to 200 here. And by the looks of it, it looks like 200 would be a rather comfortable get for the Jns Toros. Vishal moves into the 60s, on 62 at the moment. A little bit of a change in the field. Here is Chintan bowling to Vishal. That's hit in the air. On the bounce to the fielder at third man. Gets a single. So Karan on strike for the final ball of the 17th over. Just got off the mark. Faced the ball for his single. That's in. He's taken the aerial route. The ball was there to hit. He did not get the timing. The ball was eventually gathered by the fielder at deep square leg for a single. So it's the end of the 17th over. The Jns Toros 179 for the loss of 2 wickets. Last 3 overs of the first innings, Karan is on strike, and Sawmill, who is on a hat-trick because he took 2 wickets in the last 2 balls of his previous over, so he is on a hat-trick. Can Sawmill get a hat-trick amidst the carnage by the Jns Toros? Here goes, hat-trick ball, Karan to face, Sawmill to bowl. Here it is, and he takes it. It is a hat-trick for Sawmill. What a brilliant way to get to your hat-trick. Amidst the carnage, Sawmill has been that beacon of hope for Jbcn United. And it is a repeat of the previous ball. Fast, full, onto the stumps, and Karan has to depart. What a bowling display this from Sawmill. Take a bow, sir, take a bow. Another Yorker, and clips the leg stump. So Sawmill gets his hat-trick. Jns Toros lose their 3rd wicket. Karan has to depart. 179 for 3. So despite the hammering that the Jbcn United bowlers have taken, Sawmill stands out for this achievement of taking a hat-trick. And credit has to be given. He's bowled the perfect lines and lengths for the wickets that he has got. And he richly deserves that hat-trick. Cherish that moment, Sawmill. Cherish it. Because these moments come very rarely in a cricketer's life. Sawmill now will bowl with his tail up. He is on a hat-trick. He's already taken a hat-trick. And he will be bowling towards the new batsman, that is Shameen. And Sawmill now taking his time to set the field to the new batsman. Can he continue his magic? Can he continue? Here, and again, Sawmill wiping that ball. Taking a hat-trick despite the dew factor. Marvellous achievement indeed. Here is Sawmill to Shameen. Plays it straight to the bowler for a dot ball here. Sawmill to continue. Shameen on strike. That's a huge appeal for LBW. The umpire says no. And the Toros scamper across for a leg bye. Let's have a look here. That is definitely going down the leg side. As you can see, here it is. Goes down the leg side. Rather easy decision for the umpire to give. Not out. But that leg bye means that Vishal comes on strike. And that is the need of the hour for the Toros, to have the set batter on strike and face as many deliveries as possible. He plays that late. And they come back rather comfortably for 2. So the score moves on to the 180s. 182 for the loss of 3 wickets. Sawmill to bowl to Vishal once again. Again, daps it down to 3rd man for a single. They're looking for 2, but there is no 2. Here is Sawmill to continue his bowling. He will bowl to Shameen. There is Sawmill to Shameen. Shameen swings and misses. Well gathered by the keeper. So it's the end of the over. A rather tidy over given the proceedings from Sawmill, who completes his hat-trick and does not concede a boundary. So it is 18 overs gone. The Jns Toros still have the upper hand at 183 for 3. This is the hat trick. Gets Sawmill first, then afterwards it was the second wicket continuously in that previous over. Yorks him, and then the hat trick ball. Similar delivery. This time clips the top of leg stump, and what a well taken hat trick this is. So Jnl to bowl the penultimate over, and Vishal on strike. That's a good looking shot. They will look for two, but they eventually settle for a single. So Shameen to take strike against Jnl. He's hit that. He's taken the aerial route, and that is dropped. He has grasped that chance. That looked to be an easy take for all intents and purposes. He did not time this one, did Shameen. Was in the air for a while. The fielder did all the hard work, but was not able to gather the ball cleanly, and eventually drops it. It gets Vishal on strike, who is on 67 at the moment. He swivels, he connects, and it goes for 4. That is another good shot. That much needed boundary in the context of things. Things were getting a bit on the slower side for the Toros, but that boundary brings them right back into the conversations for a 200 plus score. This is the preferred shot for Vishal. Swivels, pulls, gets enough connection on it, and was timed well enough to get the boundary. Jnl, none for 27. He's halfway through his final over. Here is Vishal facing Jnl. Oh, that's a huge appeal. Not out, says the umpire. Comfortably missing. You can see all the 3 stumps there when the ball crashes into the pad. So not out, and that is the right decision by the umpire. The umpiring has been very good so far. Jnl to bowl to Vishal. Oh, that's well fielded there. Good use of his feet to stop that ball, because that was hit hard. That was hit really hard from Vishal. And you would think, but can't help but wonder, that had Jnl not put his foot in, that would have raced away to the boundary. So the last ball of the 19th over, Vishal on strike at 71. Jnl will be looking to finish this over on a high. Here he comes. That is in the air. And once again, that is dropped. Will find the fielder. Will eventually come back for 2. So 19 overs done. One last over of the batting innings left. The Jns Toros 191 for 3. Is in the air for a while. And as you can see, he did not reach there on time. Did get his hands to it, but I'm not sure it did touch him at all. 191 for 3. The final 6 balls of the first innings. The Toros will be looking to get to 200 here. They will fancy their chances, because they have managed to get a boundary every single over. So they will be looking to get to at least 200, and that would be a richly deserving score. So here we are at the final over, and undoubtedly it has to be Sawmill who takes the ball. He's been the pick of their bowlers, taken all their 3 wickets and given away just 21 runs. Jbcn will be looking to Sawmill to restrict that score and not allow the Toros to get past 200. It is Shameen who is on strike. Sawmill to bowl. Here it is, the first ball of the last over. Shameen does the right thing, gives strike to Vishal. Was looking for a second, but there was no second there. There's a midfield, and eventually they get a second. Oh my word, they've sneaked another. So a ball where they were expected to get just a single, the Jns Toros have converted that into 3 runs. Can you believe that? Not the fielding that Jbcn United would have wanted to have. They've had a tough outing today. And Jns Toros are now at 194 for 3. 5 more balls to go. Oh, that's a brilliant shot. It's in the air. But it's taken. Oh, he's not out. He is not out. They will get 2 runs. But that was a brilliant effort there on the field. He knew he was falling back. Here it is, as you can see. Vishal connected that sweetly. He thought for all intents and purposes that is going for 6, and so did I. But look at this. That was a good catch. He was going, and just when he was almost, he lost his bearings there, but he had the presence of mind to throw the ball away, which means that he did not give away that 6. So it's eventually 2 runs. Vishal goes for the slog. They will be looking to take 2. And once again, the throw is at the wrong end, so they get 2 more. So 198 for 3. Vishal moves on to 77 of 57. Vishal, spare a thought for him. He's been there from the very first delivery. Last 3 balls of the over to face. 7 runs already. Gives the charge once again. Vishal, this time Vishal will only have... This time the Toros will settle for a single. And as you can see, Vishal cramping a bit. Is that? Yes, he is cramping a bit. We hope that he is okay. Vishal will continue despite the pleas of his teammates. Here is Shameen. Shameen picks the aerial route. Can they go for 2? Vishal, yes they do, and that is the 200 up for the Jns Toros. 201 for 3. Vishal continues to be on his haunches, but he's done just enough. So this is a formidable total here. 200 total in any condition is a formidable one. But still, there is 1 more ball to play. Here it is. Sawmill to Shameen. Shameen goes over the ground. Will take only a single. So the Jns Toros finished their quota of 20 overs at a formidable 202 for 3. Mind you, it was the Jbcn United side who won the toss and elected to bowl first. And now they have their work cut out massively, chasing a total of 203 to win of their allotted 20 overs. Vishal finishes off with an unbeaten 78. Whereas Summer, the star of the show, with 90. Here are the boundaries for Vishal. Vishal picking his spots beautifully. The first boundary there, picks it up nicely. The first ball of the innings. Here is his second boundary. Straight down the ground. As you can see. He played all of his shots, displayed his repertoire of shots that he had. He hit his boundaries all across the wicket. With an affinity here to the leg side. There was the pull. A pull, a straight drive, a backward flick. Here is the cut to devastating effect. here straight down the. This was an edge. This is rather fortunate, but he would take that. Here another nice use of his feet. Clips it nicely behind fine leg. Here again cuts it to devastating effect, as you can see. And then these were the shots of the day for him. The full toss effortlessly dispatched for 6. And then a slot ball duly dispatched again over the bowler's head to reach his 50 in style. The boundaries did not stop there though, as Vishal continued to plunder them. A particular affinity for that fine leg boundary behind square on the leg side. So Jbcn United definitely have their work cut out today if they have to win this game. 203 the target for them in their allotted 20 overs. We will see you shortly for the run chase. Hello everyone, and we are here for the run chase. The target for Jbcn United is 203 runs from 20 overs at 10.15 runs an over. Shameen to start proceedings. Akshay on strike. He was looking to get off the mark straight away, but sent back by his opening partner Pranav. So Akshay and Pranav, the opening batsmen for Jbcn United, and Shameen to open proceedings with the ball for Jns Toros. Here is Akshay. Edged. Is it? No, not as says the umpire. Good discipline start this from Shameen. Bowling a nice good length. And bowling to the stumps so that there is no room for the batsman to free his arms on either side. Here is Shameen. Once again with Akshay on strike. That's another good delivery. The ball shaping away at the last moment, forcing the batsman to play at it. Very fortunate that he's not got any tickle to that, because he was beaten all ends up there by Shameen. Look at that late swing. Here is Shameen. He's taken the aerial route here. And what a catch! What a catch that is! So Jns Toros strike first blood in their very first over. What a brilliant catch that is to dismiss Akshay. Akshay goes without troubling the scorers, and Jbcn United lose their first wicket without troubling the scorers. Akshay has to depart. Let's have a look at the wicket once again. Gives him the charge, flicks it. I am not sure he did get enough connection. He thought it was enough to go past the field, but look at that. Stretches his hand, good backward catch, judges it to perfection, times his jump well, and Jbcn lose their first wicket, not for one. Janil, the batsman, coming at number 3. And this is an excellent over from Shameen. He's bowled the right lengths. He's got the wicket that this side needed to kickstart proceedings as well. And here is Shameen to finish this over. Janil on strike. And yes, that is a wicket maiden for Shameen. Brilliant start for Jns Toros. Jbcn United yet to open their account, but have already lost a wicket. It's the end of the first over. Jbcn United not for one. Shoban, the bowler, to take the new ball from the other side of the attack, and Pranav to face his first ball of this innings. Plays it well. Plays it nicely. Finds that gap. And that is the first boundary. And Jbcn United get off the mark in their run chase. Nice shot there from Pranav first up. A much slower delivery from Shobhan to begin with, but it was wide outside the off stump. So Pranav had enough time to pick his spot and find that gap between the two fielders behind square, between point and third man, and that ball races away for the boundary. The outfield has been lightning quick, so there has been value for shots on the ground if you play them and find that gap between the fielders. But Jbcn need many more of these because the target is a steep one, and with already 1 over of the power play gone without scoring, they will need a few more in this over as well. So that's a much better ball from Shobhan. Bowling it again, a similar line to what Shamin was bowling it at the stumps, bowling it, making sure that the batsman does not get a chance to use his arms freely. A release shot is what Jbcn are looking for early on in their run chase. They need more of the boundaries. Here is Pranav. Again, plays it late, but this time to the fielder. This has been a good start with the ball for the Toros, the Jns Toros. Here he comes. Shobhan to Pranav. Oh, that's edged, but well fielded by that fielder at third man. Covers ground quickly, does not let the ball beat him. Shobhan knows he's missed out there. He thought that there was a wicket in the offing, but there was too much power generated by Pranav on that cut shot, which means that the ball flew by the keeper in a flash before the keeper could even understand what was going on. Here is Shobhan bowling to Pranav. And that is gone for 4. Beats the fielder at fine leg. That is another boundary in this over. This is a good over this for Jbcn United. 8 runs in this over, but they know that they will need another one because of the maiden over that was played out earlier. Shobhan drifting down the legs a little with this ball. All Pranav had to do was get bat on ball, and he gets enough to beat that fielder at fine leg. Here is Shobhan bowling to Pranav. Once again trying to go for that cut shot, but does not get it. Ends the over on a dot ball to Shobhan. It's the end of 2 overs. Jbcn United 8 for 1. Here comes Shamin. He will continue his spell from the other end. Janil on strike. Plays it tentatively. That's Janil. That's another dot ball added to the tally. Jbcn United cannot afford a lot of dot balls given the severity of the situation and the magnitude of the target that is in front of them. They still need 195 runs to win. The run rate has already crept to almost 11. And there's another defensive shot there from Janil. Shamin has been bowling these tight lengths ever since that first ball, and he has been bang on the money with his execution. He's not allowed the batsman to get the better of him at any opportunity this so far. And that's another ball. Another dot ball here. So Shamin has now bowled 9 dot balls in a row and has also got a wicket. So this is excellent bowling. Continuing to put the pressure on Jbcn United. They will have to go for that big shot now. They need a boundary in this ball, or else that target will keep on getting out of reach as and when the dot balls pile up. Here is Shameen bowling to Janil. He goes for the big shot, does not get the connection he was looking for. That's a big chase. It's a steep chase, but that's well fielded there at the deep. Janil will get 2 runs, but still no boundary in this over. With 4 balls in, just a couple of runs in this over. The Toros will look to avoid conceding a boundary, and for that they'll have to make sure that the ground fielding in the circle is spot on. Again, a defensive stroke, and that's another good effort on the field there by the Toros. That's another dot ball. So not much of an inch given to the Jbcn batsmen by the Toros here, especially Shameen in particular, who's bowled phenomenally well. 1 more ball left to go. Here comes Shameen. He takes the aerial route and will find the boundary on this occasion. So a little bit of the pressure comes off there, but still the Toros have the upper hand after 3 overs. The Jbcn United 14 for 1 after 3. And meanwhile, it is Shobhan who will continue bowling from the other end. This has been a good bowling start from the Jns Toros. 14 for 1, and it is Pranav who will take strike. Cuts well. That's a beautiful looking shot, and the ball will win the race. That is a good shot, and this is what Jbcn require, the boundary of the very first ball, because they will need boundaries in generous helpings, and getting a boundary of the first over is always the sort of a pressure removal sort of thing that the batting side will need. And given that Jbcn is chasing a target in excess of 200, the boundary of the first 2 balls of the over is absolutely imperative for the side, especially given that they're already halfway through the power play. They will have to make the most of these fielding restrictions, and this boundary is a good way of starting the over. Shobhan to continue. Pranav moves on to 12 of 7. Here again, he picks the ball well. He reads the length well, but there is protection in the deep at long on. Will have to settle for a single. That brings Janil on strike. So Janil has been struggling for his bearings a bit. He's on 6 runs. He needs to get a move on, because you can't have one batsman playing all the attacking shots and the other batsman eating up the deliveries, especially in a run chase as this. Here it is, another defensive stroke. Just when I say the anchor role is understandable, however, when you're chasing a target and when the required run rate is already above 11 and you're just in the 4th innings of your run chase, you will have to go for the big shot at some point or the other. There's already a boundary in the first 3 overs. You need to put your foot on the gas and go for a couple more. That is good bowling here from Shobhan. That ball angling in late. Janil doing well enough to put bat on ball there. That would have been a very close call had he missed it. However, he did get bat on ball eventually. So despite conceding a boundary of the very first ball, Shobhan has just given a single in his next 3 deliveries. So not a lot of damage incurred as far as the runs are concerned despite the boundary. And that is exactly what the Toros will be looking for. They will be looking to put a squeeze on the power play. Force the batting side into mistakes, which will eventually lead to wickets. Here is Shobhan bowling to Jnl. That's a good looking stroke. Played off the back foot to the fielder in the deep. Just a single. So only 6 runs conceded of this over. 1 more ball left. Shobhan will want to ensure that they do not concede a boundary of this ball. Whereas Pranav will definitely be looking for the big shot here. They have not got enough boundaries that they would need to get this run chase off the impetus that it needs. Is this the ball? Here we go. Shobhan to Pranav. That's been given as a wide. That ball drifting down the leg side. So Shobhan will have to bowl that one again. We'll need to make sure that he finishes the over without conceding a boundary. Here is Shobhan to redo the final ball of his second over and the seam's fourth. That is a good shot once again. Eventually finds the fielder, will only settle for a single. So good over once again in the context of things. Just 8 runs conceded off, 4 overs gone. Jbcn United 22 for 1. Jbcn United have only 2 more overs left of the field restrictions. They know that they will have to take full toll of these. And meanwhile, the Toros will continue with Shameen to bowl his third over. He's been phenomenal. Brilliant bowling in the power play. And just given away 6 runs and taken a wicket. To have such bowling figures is a great task, without a doubt. But to have such bowling figures in the field restrictions, when the batsmen are looking to take advantage, is a different level of excellence. There he is. He takes the aerial route. And that is a boundary once again on the first ball of the over. So again, this is a sort of a pressure removal boundary that the Jbcn United have had. But they need to capitalize. They need to get another 2 boundaries in this over to well and truly make this their own. They need this boundary. As you can see, it was nicely picked. Takes the aerial route over the fielder at cover. Easy pickings for 4. Pranav has moved on to 18 of 10. Here is Pranav once again. Takes the aerial route once again. Oh, just short of the fielder. Will get a single. That was very, very close to the fielder. Lands just short. The fielder unable to judge the trajectory of the ball because of the lights coming right into his line of vision. Here is Jnl. Jnl will now need to let a move on because you cannot have a player continuously taking the conservative route here. Jnl will have to free his arms a bit. Jnl will have to look for the aggressive shot. Ease the pressure a little bit on Pranav, who has been getting the boundaries at regular intervals. Can Jnl find a release shot here? Here is Shameen bowling to Jnl. Again a defensive shot here from Jnl. Jnl currently batting on 7 of 12 deliveries. He will need to find a gear up. He will need to find an aggressive shot. He will need to switch gears. He will need to dial the aggression up a bit. Here he is. Again another defensive shot. This is working perfectly well for the Toros. They don't mind conceding that boundary of the first over. If the rest of the over goes without conceding a boundary, that is fine by them. They know the scoreboard pressure will eventually coax the batsmen into making a mistake, and therein lies their opportunity to strike a few wickets. Here is Shameen. Jnl on strike, and that is another dot ball. So the pressure continuing to mount on JBCN, and indirectly the pressure continuing to mount on Pranav on the non-striker's end as well. Janil on 7 of 14 deliveries. Here comes Shamin. Takes the aerial route. No run once again. So Janil has played 4 dot balls in a row. Another excellent over for Shamin, who's 3 overs, 11 runs for a wicket. 5 overs gone. 1 more over remaining in the power play. JBCN United struggling a bit at 27 for 1. It is the last over of the power play, and Shobhan will bowl his 3rd over. So the Toros, using both their opening bowlers for 3-3 over spells in the power play itself. What does Pranav do here? He knows last 6 balls. Here he goes. Oh, that's a good ball. Good ball there. Cramping the batsman for room. Not allowing him to get the aggressive shot. And that is a dot ball. So 5 more balls. Pranav knows that these are the 5 balls that will pretty much make or break the outcome of this run chase. He knows that he will have to go hammer and tongs in this over. He will have to take that risk. He will have to go for those big shots. Let's see what his approach will be. Because the run rate is already touching 12. The required run rate now 11.87. We are just in the 6th over. Here comes Shobhan to Pranav. Are they going to look for 2? They go, and they will eventually get 2. Will they go for 3? Janil, no. Pranav sends Janil back. They will settle for 2. The score steadily ticking over, but not at the rate that JBCN would want. Four balls left in the power play. They need to find a boundary, and they need to find it now. Pranav on strike. That's a shot. That's a good shot. They get the boundary they want. They will want more of those. Lovely shot from Pranav. Cuts hard and cuts fine. Races away to the boundary for 4. Let's have a look at that once again. It was there wide. Nice extension of the arms. Just over the fielder at point. Had enough power to go to the boundary for 4. They will need more of those as the score goes past the 30s. 33 for 1. Pranav moves on to 25 of 14. Here comes Shobhan. That is another good looking shot, but this time well fielded. They will eventually scamper for a single. 7 runs coming off this over. 2 more balls to go. Two more balls to go for the end of the power play. Janil on strike. Can Janil free his arms in these final 2 balls of the power play? He knows that these are free swings. He needs to go hammer and tongs. Here is Janil. And there he goes. He picks the bones out of that one. And that is 4. So Janil finally hits a shot in anger. And this is another boundary. So you've got 11 runs of this over. Finally getting a bit of a move on here, JBCN United. Gets in stride, premeditated this, picks his spot beautifully, and 1 bounce into the rope for 4. A last ball left. They will hope that they find another boundary. Can they get it though? Here comes Shobhan. Janiel on strike. Up, huge appeal. Huge appeal this. Not given. So the power play comes to a close. 6 overs gone. Jbcn United 38 for 1. It was a very, very close call this. But I think that little bit of late movement means that the ball would be missing the stumps. A good call by the umpire at the face of it. So the Toros will be very happy with the power play. They've conceded just above a run a ball and have also taken a wicket and have more or less managed to put a clamp on the scoring. So this is a good power play from a bowling perspective. Whereas as far as the batting point of view is concerned, they would feel that they are at least 15 to 20 runs short of where they wanted to be at the end of the power play. However, there's still a fair way to go in this contest. A couple of aggressive overs in the middle stages will obviously bring Jbcn United back into the contest. And the onus currently will definitely be on Pranav, because he's the one who's looking to take the attack to the JNS bowlers. The question is, how far can they take that attack? Meanwhile, the JNS Toros taking their time to set the field, as now the field can be spread, so more than 2 fielders can be put outside the 30-yard circle. Here is Pranav. Jimmy bowling to Pranav, and Pranav gets a single of the first ball. They're looking for 2, but Janiel sends him back. So Jimmy, the new bowler, to bowl his first over. Here is Jimmy. That's a nice bowling action there from Jimmy. Oh, that's a beautiful ball. Beats Janiel, all ends up. That is a lovely bowling action from Jimmy. Gets into his stride. Lovely release point. Beats Janiel for pace. And well gathered by the keeper, I must say. Here is Jimmy once again. Oh, that's another beautiful ball. Beaten Janiel for pace. All ends up here. So Jimmy continuing the good work that was done by his previous opening bowlers in Shoban and Shameen, I beg your pardon. So this is excellent bowling in tandem. Jimmy to continue to Janiel. That's edged. And well, that is 4. The fielder wasn't able to gather the ball cleanly and eventually letting it go off his grasp. So Janiel gets another boundary. And the score moves on to 43 for 1. Good ball this from Jimmy. Was well played as well. Played it rather late. Was unable to get his footing right, which means he wasn't in the right position to gather the ball, which eventually sneaks under him for 4. And huge appeal once again. Swings and misses does Janiel. Lucky to not get a feather on that. So another dot ball. Just 5 runs conceded again. Yeah, that was a good ball. Had he stayed in line, that would probably be given a wide, but he came to the pitch face of the ball. Wasn't able to get any bat on it. So here's Jimmy to finish his over. Janiel on strike. That's a huge appeal. Again misses the bat. So an excellent over from Jimmy. He's beaten Janiel so many times there. He was unfortunate to not get a wicket. 7 overs gone. Jbcn United 43 for 1. So the new bowler into the attack is Keyur. He's picked that nicely. Will get a single. They will look for the overthrow, but no. Just a single at the end of it all. Keyur, the left arm. Is he? Yes, he is the tall left armer. Bowling to Janiel. Oh, that is a huge appeal. No, says the umpire. Pitching outside leg. Leg by is given. That looked to be pitching outside leg on first glance. So it's a good decision by the umpire once again. And as we speak, the run rate is already gone above 12. The required run rate now is 12.47. Jbcn United need 158 runs to win from 76 deliveries. I beg your pardon. 76 deliveries, 158 needed. It's an uphill battle, but they still have 9 wickets in the hut. And as we have said from time and time again, anything can happen in the game of cricket, so it ain't over until the fat lady sings. Keyur to continue. Pranav on strike. Here goes Keyur. That's a good shot. Good looking shot that. And that is gone for 4. That has beaten the fielder. That's a lovely looking shot from Pranav. And Pranav continuing to carry the run scoring burden for Jbcn United at this stage. A little wide. Pranav picks that up rather nicely. Picks the gap rather beautifully as well. And the fielder had no chance whatsoever. So 4 more runs for Pranav. 4 more runs for Jbcn United. Keyur to continue. Picks it up rather nicely from his pads. Only for a single. And with that, that is the 50 for Jbcn United in the 8th over. 50 for the loss of a wicket. Janiel on strike. That's been given as a wide. However, that ball was there to be hit. Janiel will feel that he is missed out there on that delivery. However, it has been a disciplined over from Keyur so far. That 4 notwithstanding, still 7 runs conceded. They wouldn't mind that. Here is Keyur. Edged. And there is protection in the deep, so just a single. That will bring Pranav back on strike. So Keyur to finish his first over. Pranav. It's another good looking shot, and that's well fielded. They will get a single despite. So 8 overs gone. Jbcn United 53 for the loss of 1 wicket. Jimmy to continue from the other end. With Pranav on strike. Played it straight down the ground. Will only get a single. That will bring Janiel on strike to face Jimmy. In the first over, Jimmy picked up a rather nice metronomic length and has stuck to that since. He beat Janiel thrice in that over, was unlucky to not find an edge. How will this over proceed? That's another Jaffa. He has found that length with metronomic efficiency, and he is bowling there with machine-like accuracy. Look at that. Once again, same spot. Beat Janiel, all ends up once again. Janiel's really struggling here, isn't he? He's not able to get the release shots. He's just playing dot ball after dot ball. And that is the paddle. Just when I said that, Janiel decides he's had enough, picks that ball beautifully, and that is gone for 4. Premeditated shot that. He had enough. He had to do something to get Jimmy off his length, and he picks the ball rather perfectly, gets enough timing, gets enough power on that shot, and that has gone to 4 for 4. What will Jimmy do now? That's in the air. It's looped, and that's gone. Taken at the 3rd attempt. So Janiel's laborious time out there in the middle comes to an end. He goes for 20 of 26. And Jbcn United lose their 2nd wicket. Jimmy finally has Janiel's wicket. It's 58 for 2. Let's have a look here. The ball stops onto the pitch, and Janiel was way too early into the shot. The fielder sets himself up. First attempt, second attempt, eventually gobbles it up on the 3rd attempt. And that is the 2nd wicket gone. Janiel goes for 20. Jbcn United 58 for 2. And it's time for a drink as we speak. We're all set for the remainder of this run chase, as both sets of players and the umpires have refreshed themselves after a much needed hydration break. Very interesting to see what the discussions would have been in the Jbcn United camp, because they're well behind the 8 ball in terms of the required run rate. They're just about going at just under 7 and over, 6.89 to be precise. The required run rate is just a shade under 13, 12.79 to be exact. So what would be the next course of action? It's Ashish, the new batsman, on strike. Jimmy to foul. Oh, that shot up on him. Gets off the mark with a single, does Ashish. And now it is Pranav who will take strike. Pranav to face Jimmy. Pranav has been looking good, scoring 35 of 21 balls. Here is Jimmy. A little too wide for the umpire's liking. He'll have to bowl that one again. Here comes Jimmy. Jimmy to Pranav. And that is cut. It's cut nicely for 4. That is a lovely shot from Pranav. He gets another boundary. As the score continues to be restricted around him, Pranav has been finding the boundaries with regular intervals. And that is the end of the 9th over. Jbcn 64 for 2. Look at this shot. He's played that beautifully, waited for the ball to come. Gets bat on it at rather the last movement and gets enough timing and enough accuracy to beat that fielder in the deep. Excellent shot and excellent cricket from Pranav all around. 64 for 2 after 9, Jbcn United. And we have a bowling change with Don coming into the bowling attack. And Ashish to face. Here is Don with his first over of the game. The first ball of the game for him. Oh, that's a good ball. Flight. A little bit of loop there. Draws Ashish into that strike. Was there in the air for the briefest possible while. But that is a pretty good start from Don. Ashish to take strike once again. Bowls it just a little wide of the batsman's hitting arc. Ashish will take a single this time. And that will bring Pranav back on strike. So now it will be very interesting to see what Don's plans will be for the set batter, given that Pranav has been doing the bulk of the run scoring for his side up until this point. We are almost halfway through the run chase. It's 65 for 2 for the Jbcn United side, who are chasing 203, mind you, and the run rate is currently the required run rate is currently 12.94, just under 13 runs an over required. Here is Don. Pranav once again uses that cut shot to devastating effect. And that is another boundary. So Pranav somehow still finding those boundaries at regular intervals. As you can see, once again, expertly finds that gap once again. The fielders there have absolutely no chance to stop those boundaries. They know Pranav is going for the cut shot, but they have not found an answer to stop the boundaries from going in that particular area. Pranav using that gap and picking it up with surgeon-like efficiency and precision. Jbcn United at 69 for 2. Don concedes his first boundary of the game. Here is Don once again bowling to Pranav. And Pranav gets it. Oh, right under the fielder. That was a chance. That was a genuine chance. But Pranav once again survives. He lives to fight another day. Here it is. Tries to get the cut. He tries it. Just, oh, that was a very good effort there. Got to give credit to the fielder. But just wasn't able to get his hands there. Here is Ashish. Plays it rather nicely, but for no run. Here's Don to bowl his final ball of his first over. Ashish to take strike. Here he comes. Played down the ground. Will get only a single. So Jbcn United at the halfway mark of their run chase. 71 for 2. So we are at the halfway stage of this run chase. And so far, Jns Toros will be very happy with the proceedings so far. Here comes Jimmy to bowl his third over. Oh, that's another good ball. Jimmy has been bowling excellently well. He's picked his length and he's stuck to his length with relentless accuracy. Dare I say, this is Josh Hazlewood level of accuracy that is being displayed by Jimmy at this moment in time. Because he, just like Hazlewood, does not miss. He's picked that length and he has stayed on that length. Come hail or come thunder. Thankfully, we don't have neither. But it has been a brilliant bowling display from Jimmy so far. And he even got the wicket that his bowling efforts warranted. So safe to say, it has been excellent bowling performance so far from Jimmy, but he would definitely want to continue in the same vein. And he would want to add a couple of more wickets to his name and get his team to a much more better position in terms of winning this game. That's a good shot from Ashish. And that finds the boundary as well. So this is a good shot from Ashish. Can Ashish be the foil that Pranav needs to overhaul this target? Again, it has been the cut shot which has been the prevalent shot of choice for both the batsmen. As you can see here, once again, played rather late but played very well indeed. And perfectly picking his spot as it races away to the boundary. Here comes Jimmy once again. He's picked the gap on the leg side this time. They're going for 2 and they will get 2 rather comfortably. So they've got 6 runs in the first 3 deliveries of this over. And as has been the case throughout their run chase, they will be looking to add a couple of more boundaries to their tally in this over, because they need to start getting the big shots and they need to start getting the big overs soon. Or else it will be a case of too little too late for Jbcn United. Here comes Jimmy. Again, cut and cut nicely, but this time there is protection in the deep and that will be only a single. Seven runs of 4 deliveries, 2 more balls to go in this over. Pranav finds himself on strike. He's currently batting on 44 of 24, his Pranav. Here comes Jimmy. Gets the inside edge. Will scamper across for a single. Ashish on strike. Jimmy to finish his 3rd over. Oh, that is the end of the 11th over. Jbcn United 79 for the loss of 2 wickets. Nine more overs to go. They need 124 runs to win, and the run rate is well over 13. 13.79 to be precise. Don to continue. Will bowl his 2nd over. Pranav on strike. He takes the aerial route, and that is gone. Straight in the hands of the fielder. So Pranav's innings comes to an end. Probably the wicket that Jns Toros required the most. It seemed for all intents and purposes that Pranav timed that ball to perfection, but he found the fielder. The fielder did not have to move a step. Just stood there and took a catch with ridiculous ease. Not a single step to the left or right. Straight into his waiting hands. And Jbcn United lose their 3rd wicket. Pranav dismissed. 79 for 3. The new batsman on strike is Anshuman. .79 for 3. Jbcn United chasing 203. And they've just lost the wicket of Pranav, who was batting so well, was finding the boundaries that his side needed. But the scoreboard pressure eventually telling off, and Pranav dismissed for a well-made 44. Anshuman taking his time to face Don. Here he is to face his first ball. Gets off the mark. Gets a single. .80 for 3. Jbcn United. We are into the 12th over. Ashish cuts well, but there is a fielder in the deep, will get only a single. Dawn to continue. Anshuman was looking to take the aerial route there, but does not get the connection. Will eventually have to only settle for a single. So this is another nice and tidy over by Dawn here. A wicket followed by 3 singles. The Jns Toros will not mind that. Here is Ashish to face Don. He takes the aerial route once again. Finds the fielder. Only a single. So 4 singles after the wicket. Jns Toros will be very pleased with this match situation that they find themselves in. They clearly have the upper hand. They have the scoreboard pressure. They have the runs to play with. And every ball that... oh, that's 4. Is it? That is 4. Yes, that is 4. So the end of 12 overs, Jbcn United 87 for 3. Anshuman picking his spot rather nicely in that exchange. Moves his front foot out of the way and picks that gap rather nicely for 4 runs. As I was saying, Jns Toros will not mind the occasional boundary because they have the runs to play with, and every ball that they do not consider boundary is another ball less for Jbcn to overhaul that target. 116 required of 8 overs with a required run rate of 14.5. With 7 wickets in hand, it's an uphill task. Jns Toros know that they're just a couple of tight overs away from a victory. Jimmy comes on to bowl out. He's 3 overs, 1 for 24. Jimmy will look to add a couple of more wickets to his tally after having bowled excellently well. Here comes Jimmy. Ashish on strike. Nice sound of the ball hitting the bat, but only gets a single, does Ashish. Oh, that was close. Good ball from Jimmy once again. Using that good length. Beats Anshuman, all ends up. And the ball jagging back a little as well. Out of nowhere. So here is Jimmy to Anshuman once again. And once again, Jimmy cramping Anshuman for room, not allowing him to free his arms. No run there. Every dot ball, every single, basically every ball that JNS do not concede a boundary adds the pressure onto Jbcn United. This looks like an uphill battle with every passing delivery. Can Jbcn United find a way? Anshuman giving the charge, hits the toe end of the bat, will get a single. And as we speak, the required run rate is now 15.5. Here is Jimmy. Tap and run for Ashish. The singles and twos won't hurt for Jns Toros. They know that. They don't mind the singles and twos at this stage. They will give them rather willingly to the batting side. It is the boundaries that will hurt, and boundaries in consistency, not a boundary occasionally. Oh, that was so close, but that beats everything. Beats the batsman, beats the stumps, and beats the keeper en route for 4 byes. Jimmy, rather unfortunate there, but it's the end of his spell. A rather good spell at that. And it's the end of the 13th over. Oh, that jagged back in at the last possible moment. Had that ball not deviated, that would have gone on to crash onto the stumps. Jimmy knows it. That's an excellent bowling display that. He deserved another wicket. So it's the end of 13 overs. Jbcn United 94 for 3. And it is Dawn who will continue. Ashish on strike. Here comes Dawn bowling to Ashish. Ashish has picked that one nicely. It is going to the fence. Stopped right in the nick of time. And they are coming for 3. And they will get 3 runs there. So well run. Anshuman. And as you can see, the first time now that Dawn is wiping the ball. So there might be a little bit more dew than anticipated here. Has it come too late for Jbcn United? Here comes Dawn. That's been given as a wide. .98 for 3 Jbcn United into the 14th over. And that is huge. That is high. And that is 4. Or that is 6. What is the call for the umpire? That is given as a 4. That was in the air for a very, very long time. That had a lot of hang time. But it was beyond the fielders rather safely. Goes to the boundary for 4 on the bounce. So the 100 comes out for Jbcn United. 102 for 3. That's huge, is it? No, that isn't. They will get 2 for that though. So they've got 10 runs of this over. 3 balls in. It is a good over in the circumstances. However, the required run rate is in the 15s, so they still need a couple of more big hits here to reach par for the over. They are still 5 runs behind in the runs required per over scale of things. Here is Anshuman facing Dawn. That is massive. That is pit with power and force. That is 6. Much needed. Probably the first 6 of the innings. What a good shot that is from Anshuman. They finally got the big over that they've been looking for. And could this be the start of the turnaround that the JCBN were looking for? JBCN United were looking for, I beg your pardon. Lovely shot this from Anshuman. Straight over the bowler's head. And Dawn has finally been put under pressure. That is another shot in the air again, but 1 bounce to the fielder. Will get a single. So the big over that JBCN United wanted is here. 17 runs off. 14 overs gone. 112 for 3. Oh, there is still another ball left. I beg your pardon. 1 more ball left in this over. 111 for 3. 17 runs off this over. This is a massive over. Can they make it even more big? No, they won't. They will get a single. So 18 runs coming off this over. 14 overs gone. 112 for 3. Keyur comes back into the attack. So the equation for JBCN United is very simple. 6 overs left. 91 required. 7 wickets in the shed. They will need 2 big hits in an over. Every over from here on. 2 big hits. Can they be able to get it? Here comes Keyur to Ashish. Ashish tucks it down to his pads for a single. And it is a no ball. So that is a free hit. So it's a free hit, a chance for Anshuman to swing his arms and go for the full Monty here because this is a free hit. The game at a very tantalizing point here. 6 overs and more. Here's the free hit. Keyur to Anshuman. Picks it. Single. Just a single. Anshuman was looking to get much more of a connection on that. Did not get enough. Here comes Keyur bowling to Ashish. Flicked that one. That will most probably be given leg byes. They will settle for a single. Yes, the umpire does signal it as leg byes. But that once again brings Anshuman on strike, who has been looking good with those big shots. There it is once again. And that goes for 4 as well. So Anshuman turning up the heat a bit, sending a little bit of a jitter down the spine of the Jns Toros fielders. Anshuman turning it on in style here. Once again straight over the bowler's head. The big shots, the runs coming now thick and fast. 18 were taken of the previous over. They've already taken 8 of this one. And still 3 more balls left. Good Yorker there. Just a single. Here's Ashish. Can Ashish get a big shot in here? Can he get a boundary? He picks the length. But there is a oh, that is gone for 4. So Ashish gets a boundary from the other side. Things now going thick and fast for Jbcn United. They have got another good over behind their back after that 18-run over in the previous one. They've got They've got 13 runs of this over. 1 more ball to go. And that is given as a wide. So 14 runs of this over as well. Suddenly the tide seemed to have turned. He picks that one. Will only get a single. So 15 runs of this, 18 runs of the previous, 33 runs of the last 2 overs, and 13 overs. It's 15 overs gone, 127 for 3. 76 runs needed in the last 5 overs for Jbcn United. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now entered the crunch time of this contest. Last 5 overs of this game. 76 runs required for Jbcn United. The required run rate at 15.2. But they have a bit of momentum entering into this final stretch because they've got 18 and a 15 run over in quick succession. 33 runs of the last 2 overs have put them in a place to go for the jugular. Here is Sahil, I beg your pardon. That's a good shot, but no run there. So Sahil starts off with a dot ball, and he'd be rather fortunate to consider that as a dot ball because that ball was there to be hit. However, it is a dot ball at the end of the day. So 76 of 29 now. Here comes Sahil once again. We'll get a single for this one. .78 required of 28. Can Anshuman conjure up his big hitting exploits one more time in this over? Here is Sahil to Anshuman. That is a wide, is it? Yes, that is a wide. The umpire gave it a little bit of thought, but it was eventually deemed too wide for his liking. Here comes Sahil to Anshuman once again. Oh, that's a lovely delivery. That was lovely. Well bowled there by Sahil. Beating Anshuman all ends up, who was winding himself up for the big shot. Here is Anshuman once again. Picks that nicely. They will get 2. They will get 2 runs though. So it's a good over so far. 4 runs conceded off the 4 deliveries. As long as Jns Toros do not concede a boundary here, they will believe that they are in the driver's seat of this contest. Here's Anshuman facing Sahil. Hits it down the ground. Only a single. So this is a very good over for the Toros in the context of the game. Just when it felt that Jbcn had pulled things back a bit in their favour, they have been pegged back by this over that they have not conceded a boundary in. In the air, and no, that was not. That should have been taken. But that's just a single. So at the end of it all, it's still a good over. Just 6 runs conceded. Let's have a look at this one. Nowhere close to hit. And a little bit of misjudgment means that the catch and the chance goes a-begging. So 16 overs gone. 133 for 3 wickets. 70 runs required in the last 4 overs. So Keyur will continue. He was picked apart for runs in this previous over. He will want to he would want to improve on that and make sure that he does not concede any boundaries in this over. But this could be the over that makes or breaks the game. Here is Keyur bowling to Ashish. It's a good looking shot. Just a single. Keyur now to bowl to Anshuman. Swing and a miss. So now the pressure well and truly telling on Jbcn United. No boundary in 8 balls means that a boundary has to come. Here is Keyur once again. A leg by, probably. And it is a leg by, so another ball goes without conceding a boundary. So Jns Toros tightening the screws here on this run chase. Ashish to face Keyur. Another swing and a miss. That is another dot ball. So 2 tight overs on the bounce for Jns Toros. And it seems... Oh, that's another good ball. That was very close again. No boundaries in this over as well. So that's back-to-back overs without a boundary being conceded for the Jns Toros. And now they will surely believe that they have this game in the bag. However, they need to finish this over well. Here is Keyur. And they do finish. Oh, it's a misfield. And they get a boundary. So there is just a little bit of a hope for Jbcn United. 17 overs gone, 140 for 3, 63 required of the last 3. So it's Sahil who will be bowling the 18th over with Ashish on strike. It's hit well by Ashish but will only get a single. I think the onus of the power hitting now falls squarely on the shoulders of Anshuman. If they need to get anywhere closer or even try to overhaul this target, Anshuman will have to do the bulk of the scoring and will have to score the bulk of the boundaries here. Here is Sahil bowling to Anshuman. Oh, that was so close to the stumps. And the keeper has copped a blow on his knee. Is that? The keeper is moving a bit gingerly, but he shows the thumbs up, indicating that he is all right. That ball was there to be hit there, I would say, for Anshuman. Rather unlucky that he missed out. "61 required of 16. Seems a little difficult. That's another good ball from Sahil. They are well and truly putting the clamps here. Very, very difficult to score them from here now. Here is Sahil. Ashish picks that one rather nicely. And that is gone for 4. A little bit of a sticky situation there for the fielder at the deep. Finds his footing stuck. And eventually the ball trickles along to the boundary after it felt like he had that under control. There, he thought he had this under control, but hits the lower part of his foot. And the ball takes that favourable deflection and trickles to the boundary rope for 4. That is a wide. That he will have to bowl that one again. Another dot ball. The batsman was looking for a wide, but the umpire says nothing doing. And that is the right call at the end of the day, because that was not wide. It was well within the tram line. He's picked that one nicely. And that has been fielded well, so we'll only get a single. So 18 overs gone. It's 148 for 3 for Jbcn and United. 55 required from 12 balls. So the equation's pretty simple. Jbcn and United need 9 sixes in 12 deliveries. And I think that would be Keyur who will bowl out. I think at this point what Jbcn and United will try to do is throw the kitchen sink at every ball. Swings and misses. That's a dot ball. .55 needed off 11. They take a single of this delivery. So 54 needed of 10. In simpler terms, 9 sixes needed in 10 balls. Anshuman, can he conjure something special? No, he can't. That is a wicket. And that is game, set and match probably as far as this contest goes. Anshuman had to swing come heaven or hail water. And eventually that is a wicket. Anshuman has to depart. Keyur gets his wicket. It's 148 for 4. .55 needed of 9 deliveries now. .149 for 4. 54 needed of 9 deliveries. So 9 sixes of 9 balls. And it is Bhavik who is the new batsman on strike. That was the wicket of Pranav. Was looking good up until that point. That shot looked pretty good as well, but it found the fielder. Here is Keyur to bowl to Bhavik. Here is Keyur bowling to Bhavik. Hits that well down the ground. Only a single. Eight balls, 53 runs needed. Gets only a single again. So 52 of 7. And Ashish has pulled up. Hope he's okay. No, I think he is struggling there a bit. We hope he's all right, but it looks to be that he is cramping quite a bit there. This was the wicket of Anshuman. Easy catch there for the fielder at shot third man. Ashish is continuing, but not sure how long can he continue. Meanwhile, here's Bhavik. Ashish is hobbling. He seems he is struggling. He is genuinely struggling. They do complete the single. So the final over of the game, and Jbcn United require 51 runs of the last over. I believe it seems like Ashish is walking back. His side do not want to risk an injury, and that is the right decision because this game is all but gone, and the last thing that Jbcn United would want is an injury to one of their key players. So Ashish eventually decides to retire hurt. It was a good knock from Ashish. It's a shame that it had to end like that, but we just hope that he is all right and he is okay because he is one of the key players of that Jbcn United side. Meanwhile, Chirag is the new batsman in. He will be at the non-strikers end though, as it will be Bhavik who will be facing the first ball of the final over, and it will be Sahil to bowl that one. Here comes Sahil to bowl to Bhavik. It's in the air. Takes the aerial route and takes it. That's gone for 4. So a little bit of face saving, should I say. I think they're trying to reduce the margin of defeat here. And that will be the logical way to go. So I do believe that Bhavik will swing for the hills every single delivery, provided he plays all 6 of them. He swings again. And that is 4. So that is 2 boundaries in a row. 160 for 4, the Jfsc United side. They're inching closer and closer to the target, making sure that the deficit is not as big as initially expected. Last 4 balls of the innings. Jbcn United at 160 for 4. Here comes Sahil bowling to Bhavik. That is a wide, signalled by the umpire. Here comes Bhavik, swings again, but this time will only get a single. 3 balls more. 162 for 4. Here is Sahil. That's in the air. And dropped. Keyur, the fielder, unable to hold on to that chance. As you can see here, the ball was in the air for a considerable amount of time. Should have set himself up nicely. In fact, was nowhere near and eventually drops that. 2 more balls. That's in the air. Taken. Is it? Gets a single there, does he? Yes, he does. So the final ball of the over. That is high up in the air. And they let it go. So it is the Jns Toros who have emerged victorious in this contest. It has been a thoroughly professional and dominant performance from them throughout the course of this 40 overs. They were excellent with the bat, putting up a formidable total of 202. And then with the ball, they did just enough to make sure that the Jbcn United eventually fell well short of the target. So Jbcn United win this game. The Jns Toros win this game by a comfortable margin of 40 runs. And that has been as professional a performance as it gets. Congratulations to Jns Toros and commiserations to Jbcn United. It was a good fight till it lasted. It was a very good fight by Jbcn United, but the target was a little too out of their reach. This is Delvin signing off from this Dad's Premier League match between the Jns Toros and Jbcn United. Till the next game, it is good night, and we will see you soon with another game. The final score, Jns Toros winning this game by 37 runs. Good night and see you soon.